Okay, so now I will be going over question 16. This is related to the same concept as question 15. Also, question 14 is kinematics. So basically, I'll just review it again. So kinematics is basically the study of motion without reference to forces. So it's basically understanding what motion is before understanding all the complicated stuff that goes with what caused that motion, and just leaving at what is the motion and studying what it is. So we use it to study velocity, acceleration, displacement, and time. And we have 4 equations that we use to study those topics. So it's not looking at what caused the motion, it's just looking at the motion. And it's often called the geometry of motion. So I'm going to write down the 4 kinematic equations. 3 are on the useful equation sheet, but I'll just write down all 4. So the first one is the final velocity equals initial velocity plus acceleration times time. Second one is the final velocity squared equals initial velocity squared plus 2 times acceleration times change in x, or change in, or displacement basically. And then third one, change in s, or change or displacement, is equal to initial velocity times time plus 1/2 times acceleration times time squared. And then the last one, these 3 are on the useful equation sheet, but the last one isn't, so I need to memorize it. So change in x, or displacement, is equal to final velocity plus initial velocity divided by 2 all times time. Okay, so those are the 4 equations that we are using to study kinematics, and so basically motion. And you can see that it deals with velocity, acceleration, time, and displacement. Okay, so now to solve this question, I'm going to read question 16. If the ball reaches the height at time equals 2 seconds, what is the height of the building? So this is what's happening. Ball is being thrown. Okay, so if it reaches the ground, at 2 seconds, what is the height of the building? So we're looking for how high that building is. So for kinematic equations, we just put in what we know and what we're trying to look for, and then solve it. So what I'm looking for, the height of building. So that's what I'm looking for right here, or it can also just be the displacement. So that's what I'm looking for. So I need an equation with displacement in it. And what I have, so they give us that it reaches the ground at 2 seconds. So I have the time. And then I have acceleration, because they give us 10 meters per second squared. I know that, I also have the initial velocity is equal to 5 meters per second. And then, so this right here is enough to plug in a kinematic equation to solve for height. So just looking at it here, I can use this equation right here to solve for delta s, and I have all these variables right here, and that will give me height. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do delta s is equal to the initial velocity, which is 5, times the time, it takes 2 seconds because they give us that, and then plus 1/2 times the acceleration, 10 times 2 squared, times squared. Okay, so delta s equals to 10 plus 1/2 times 10 times 4. Delta s is equal to 10 plus 10 times 4 is 40, divided by 2 is 20. And I forgot to put that this is negative 10 because it is accelerating downward, so we're about to put that in. So this is actually going to be negative here. And then delta S is equal to 10 plus negative 20. Delta S is equal to negative 10. And since we're just looking at displacement, what is the height, we're looking at the height, which can't be negative height. So we know that the height is going to be 10 meters, which is B. So the answer to 16 is B.